I'm an Army recruit officer in the area. He mentions my county, and I see you've requested some information about the Army. This is my email and my number here. If you're still interested, give me a call or shoot me an email or text. Yeah, so I got my message from my local recruitment office after signing up to play this video game. And
please email them back and ask them what rank they are in the game. How far did you make it? That's all I want to know.
There is a form of multimedia entertainment beyond that which is good. These games are as vast in number as they are terrible. They dwell in the dark recesses of history, unearthed from the pits of the bargain bin. These are the games of horror. This is Garbage Game Night.
Welcome to Garbage Game Night, where we are a privately funded podcast, not receiving any government funding. Our message has not been altered. We are not being forced to say these things. We do this under our own volition, right, guys?
No.
Yeah.
We get paid, and the government asked us to do this.
Shut up.
Right. Yay.
Frank, how you doing tonight?
I'm doing good.
Oh, I caught you eating the bang bang
Yeah,
shrimp.
yeah.
You just told me you were doing that.
Yeah, that's fine. No, I'm good. I'm good. I got a mouthful of shrimp, so what could be better?
Better than most. Gotcha. Tom, how you doing tonight?
Chris, they say they'll shoot me. They say
What? Who? What? No.
they say
If we want our paycheck, we have to say nice things about this game.
I'm so excited to play.
Excellent. And Bob, how are you?
I am fantastic.
Excellent.
Yeah, fantastic.
Glad to have you, Bob. Well, the last game we played on GGN, it was One Tough Gazookas Who Hates All Palookas, which is the lyrics to the song. I looked it up, and boy, does that sound like an ethnic slur. It is not Palookas.
I think it actually is anti-Polish, but I don't know. I could.
Who cares
I
about
looked
them?
it up. It didn't say anything negative about it. Yeah, it just means like a.
Tread carefully.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, it's actually something that also that Disney uses with Donald Duck.
Oh, yeah. A stupid, clumsy, or uncouth person. Yeah. Inferior or an average prize fighter. Yeah. It's, but yeah, Popeye, the arcade game, turned into a full-fledged 3D experience without adding any game mechanics, though, and it wasn't very good. Frank, did you get your Switch back at least?
No.
Oh, wow. You enjoying the Switch then, Tom?
I have not touched it since. I'm sorry.
Wow.
In fact,
Wow.
Return it.
I was like, man, I really haven't. I haven't played Fortnite in 2 weeks because of that. And
I'm not gonna lie. I borderline forgot I had it.
yeah. Actually, while we're on the topic of the previous episode, I have to give a public apology.
Okay.
To one Victor. Because
Victor. Okay.
not only
Friend of the podcast.
did he actually have a Nintendo Switch to play this game on, he had watched and was very fond of the Popeye movie.
Oh, really?
And upon that I apologize profusely to him in person. This is my public apology. But here's the thing. I'm not going to tell him I did this on the podcast, and I don't want you guys to tell him either. He has to actually listen to this podcast before, So we'll see if he actually listens or not. He probably won't, because no one does. But, here's my very public apology to Victor. I apologize. He would have been a great member of the cast during the game, but, didn't work out.
I was just skipping through the video footage. You can find it on YouTube now if you want to watch it. Victor, if you're going to watch this. But I was scrolling through, where's the gameplay footage? It's halfway through the episode, Frank, because we did have a 5-minute film with Frank. Yeah, so that's Popeye. All right, well, let's talk about what's going on in the gaming world real fast before we get into it. Well, first, I guess we should plug the podcast. That's what's going on in the gaming world. Make sure you subscribe to the podcast wherever you get your favorite podcasts, and we're also releasing the episodes on YouTube a couple days later on Thursdays every other week, and streaming some good games sometimes on twitch.tv/GGNcast. You can find us streaming the episodes there as well if you want to come hang out, chat, and give your thoughts on the game we're playing. So Kingdom Hearts was revealed, the next Kingdom Hearts entry, and it seems like they made Sora look more realistic, which is kind of concerning because I'm really afraid that they're going to put a scene where Duck has to meet Princess Leia or Han Solo, because they're probably going to bring in the MCU and the Star Wars universe because they just can't help themselves. Yeah, I have you guys ever played Kingdom Hearts?
No, all I know is that it intermixes all of the properties of Disney, right?
If you do ever get a chance, just look up the Kingdom Hearts scenes out of context, and it's great, just a character dying and turning into dust, and then it pans over to Mickey Mouse yelling "No!" Yeah, it's just a great collection of nonsense, Kingdom Hearts. Let's see, what else? Our good friend Alfredo is seeing Sonic 2. Has anyone seen Sonic 2?
No.
I didn't know it was out
I wouldn't dare.
I really wanted to go see the first one after we bullied them to fix it. I'm like, oh, now I gotta go see it.
You were
and
part
then
of the
I just
campaign that
never
bullied
wanted
them to
go see
fix it, and you never saw it.
I know I didn't. That's on me. I'm admitting that publicly right now. Sonic people, I apologize. You didn't get my money, and you're still not gonna get it. Sucks to suck.
Sucks to suck. You heard it here first. All right. I saw this news and I haven't looked into it. Yeah, something about Sony investing in the metaverse. I'm sure that's going to pay off for them. Great. All right. Yeah,
I'm guaranteeing
we'll
it's
go
not.
ahead.
That's my prediction. It's not going to pay off.
Yeah. Yeah, the metaverse just seems like it's created by people who don't understand how video games or VR work, and we're just not there yet, you know?
Oh, I just realized maybe I don't even know what the metaverse is.
Exactly. You know, imagine
The people making the metaverse don't know what the metaverse is.
Yeah, imagine like a bunch of 60-year-olds saw a Ready Player One and they're like, we can do that today. And then they just start announcing that they're going to do it today. So, well, how are you going to do that today? We're doing it now. We have Sony on board. We have Facebook on board.
So they want to create like a virtual world.
And like Facebook has commercials for it. They're just calling it, well, I mean, they renamed their whole company Meta, right? So, yeah, and they... Like what are the practical applications? How do you do it? None of it's there yet. There's no substance.
I feel
to
like
it. It's just
all preceding media related to this idea is negative, though, right? Like when they're like
it always works out.
I just feel like every time this idea has been like in a movie or anything, they're like, and it was terrible for everyone, and they're like, well, we're at that level
And
now, right?
Zuckerberg
We
is
should
like,
we should do
we
it.
need to do it. We need to do it.
Probably because if you look at it from a greedy perspective, the message you're really taking away is, okay, how many people in the population did it? All of them? Okay, yeah, we should do that. We should be the ones to do it.
No, that's really what is driving it, is that like it's gonna be the future. People are gonna get on board with it. We just don't know how yet. So that's the argument that I've heard, is like these companies are just staking out their place as being leaders in the the metaverse, at least an architecture that's ready for it. But like there's nothing there yet.
It's gonna happen one day, so it might as well be us that does it.
That's exactly
Well, it's kind
right.
of also like
yeah.
NFTs if you think about it. Everyone's like, oh, buy this, then down the road you can do stuff with it. I mean, some people are doing little things here and there, but like, oh, the big pictures, once you have as many NFTs, then you hear people
NFTs
now,
talk about
profit later.
Exactly. Yeah. You hear people talk about like the implications of NFTs for video games. Is like, well, imagine that you could buy Mickey Mouse's ears and you own that NFT. It's a unique thing you can take from this game to this game to this game. And you say that and it's like, it just completely disregards anything about how video games work. Yeah. that doesn't make any sense.
I had like 10 follow-up questions to that.
Yeah. but the people who are pushing it are seems like the level they're coming at it with. But you're right, they're just seemingly staking out the territory, if that holds. We're going to talk about something that is not staking out the territory, though. The game we're playing this evening is America's Army Proving Ground.
And we've talked about this on the podcast, haven't we?
We have talked about America's Army because we have talked about another game that the government sponsored, Moonbase Alpha. And it's funny, when researching these games, like I did a lot of research into like games that the U.S. Army or Pentagon has sponsored, and man, Moonbase Alpha it's not on anyone's radar. All everyone ever talks about is America's Army Proving Ground. That's what this game is known for, being made by the U.S. Army, and the reason we're doing it tonight, I'm going to read a quick little statement here. This is from americasarmy.com. It's America's Army Proving Grounds mission success. Time to withdraw. This was announced on February 7th. First, we want to cover the tough news announced recently. America's Army Proving Ground will shut down on May 5th. As the saying goes, all good things must come to an end. While it is with mixed emotions, we plan our goodbye to AAPG. We want to look back on the series and celebrate some of its achievements. The free-to-play America's Army PC game represented the first large-scale use of game technology by the U.S. government as a platform for strategic communication and recruitment, and the first use of game technology in support of U.S. Army recruiting. 3 mainline titles. More than 200 million AA players later, the series' original purpose continued. There have been 30 million objectives completed, 180 million successful missions accomplished, and many more in-game achievements attained under America's Army PG alone. As time has passed and AA has fulfilled its mission, it is time for us to shift our focus to other new and innovative ways to assist the Army with comms and recruitment. None of this would have been possible without our players, so thank you for your dedication and continued support throughout these years. We look forward to what the future could hold for AA and encourage you to stay tuned for future announcements on the series. So that is their statement that AAPG is shutting down. So we're here to give it a proper send-off to talk about what this game was. It is technically America's Army 4, the fourth entry into the series. That's what Proving Ground is. It is a free-to-play tactical first-person shooter made by the U.S. Army. A better comparison to current games maybe would be like it's Valorant without the superpowers, or instead of being made by the hip and slick Riot Games, it's made by a data analyst in the Pentagon. So that's what America's Army is. Yeah, so let's talk. Did you guys know that this game existed? Have you heard about it, tried it, played it?
Only through you did I know this existed.
You played it through me.
No. Well, I've only known it
about
existed.
Gotcha. Frank, Bob, did you
Yeah, same. When we covered it on the podcast when we were doing the moon base.
Yeah, I remember you guys talking about it at one point. But
Wow.
I didn't know. It's like a legit FPS.
Yeah, it is. The one thing that kind of sets it apart, they say that what they want to set America's Army from its original conception apart was that its guiding principles since the beginning, that they wanted to be competitive with the other FPS games, and leaning on military guidance for tactics, and as they say, be guided by the Army's value of loyalty, duty, respect, or selfless service, honor, integrity, and personal courage. It's a lot for a video game to do. And throughout the game is included some training kind of sequences and different campaigns throughout the game that provide real world information, like Army medic training, some basics of driving Army vehicles, operating specialized systems like a Javelin, parachuting, Crow's system. How's the pitch sound? A game made by the U.S. military, which, as you heard in their blog, they're pretty openly talking about how it's a recruiting tool.
I think and we'll probably get into it more later, but there's like a tonal issue that ends up happening like pretty quickly, in that like most games, even ones that are pretty serious in like allow like a certain level of like your of disbelief, right? Like this is fake and it's not real, and obviously this isn't real. But just the fact that it's meant as a recruiting tool kind of makes it seem like they're trying to... It's like a higher level of attached realism. And that's like a fake term.
It's harder to suspend that.
Exactly. So like, I just, when I was quickly going like the training in the beginning, like they were like... made a crack in a couple jokes, and I was like, this isn't funny, guys, this is serious.
We're training for a real
like that literally was my thought, is I was like, would you really be joking right now? I'm handling a gun for the first time, according to you. and I don't know, that was less fun. Maybe I'm a weirdo, but that was my...
The tone is kind of different than maybe you would expect. I don't know, it felt very 2020, or this one came out in 2013 drill sergeant, right? Like there's a guy talking to you over a PA, but he's like very casually kind of taking you through the training. It's not a drill sergeant yelling in your ear, right? Like maybe you would expect. It's like the cool, approachable Army, I guess, that is trying to train you to be a special ops, it feels like.
Yes.
That I think we've probably had similar, I don't know, even like Call of Duty, I feel like they're rougher with you in the training things, like they're yelling at you and stuff.
The voices were much younger in this too, which also threw me. Like when you're going through like you're a soldier to pick it, I feel like normally in games, like it's like voice 1 and you're like, we're gonna go out and fight, and it's like voice 2 and it's like, we're gonna go out, we're gonna fight. This one was like, hey everybody, like it felt very much like, no, we're it's teenagers. So
Well,
we're going for 18-year-olds.
Come on, man.
No, that's
Hello,
my point.
fellow kids.
That's my point. Is they were like, no, we want it to sound like 19-year-olds because 18.
Yeah, we want it to be hip.
Because that's who we're going for.
Hello, fellow children. Do you want to come join me?
Right, and that it was a buzzkill for me instantly, where it was like they were like, which voice do you want? Like teenager 1 or teenager 4? And I was like, I don't want to be a teenager.
I don't want to send any of them into battle. All right, let's play a game on a server. How about the DZ Devils Clan public server?
Ooh.
That's 2 out of 32, pretty low ping.
Chris, can we talk about these videos? AmericasArmy.com/loading videos.
Talk about. So as you're loading servers between maps, you will get fed a video that is approved by GoArmy.com. They're all you have to do with Army culture. I was just watching one talking about how to mount your sight on an AR. There are other ones that are more blatant about just how to join the army or different positions you could have in the army. Did you guys see anything interesting in there?
I saw one about a tank.
Nice.
That was
a tank.
That was cool.
Okay.
They called it a beast.
It's okay. At least your keyboard works. Oh, I've been killed.
Oh.
Hairy Moose killed me.
Yeah, Harry Moose is pretty badass.
Holy crap! Can you see them, the bad guys?
No?
Because I can.
Oh, yeah, well, you're spectating.
Yeah, but
You gonna help us out, Tom?
no, that's what I meant. Like, okay, Chris, you're gonna have a guy on your right. Frank is to your
sure
right.
I
He's
am.
around the corner to there. He's around that corner. Okay, he just got down on the ground. Don't worry, you're good. You're good.
That
Damn.
clean sweep achievement.
Chris, how'd you know?
I got you, Bob. I got your back. Oh, you dove down on the ground there? That was pretty tactical, Bob. Get him, Bob. Oh, I got a kill. Clean kill on Hairy Moose. How long have you guys been playing this game?
A few weeks.
Nice.
Good. Okay.
Thinking about signing up yet?
Are you just gonna be like a
listen to the
recruiter?
army, you mean?
Yeah.
Nah, I don't think so, man.
All right. That's fair. That's
Pretty
fair.
fun. Pretty fun to play, right, guys?
How would you want to try it in real life?
Tom, you sound like a recruiter.
You know what's more fun? Real thing.
Hold on. I got pulled a pin. I'm just gonna run at him. I don't know if this is like army protocol that I can do this.
Suicide bomb.
Yo, don't be up and over unless it's 5v5.
Up and over. What the hell is that?
I murdered 2 people, and then Chris killed me.
Yeah, that was me.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry, but I killed 2 people. I mean, I shot 2 people in the back.
Hey, he's still killing him.
That's
Yeah,
honorable.
they still died.
Sorry, what are you saying?
No up and over.
Who, me?
Oh, I don't know what that
No,
means. Sorry, I'm
Hairy
very new.
No,
The
can't
moose.
go up there.
Oh, okay.
Was I just revived?
See? Oh, okay. Sorry, don't know proper protocol.
Yeah,
Moose,
until
moose.
5v5, normally no one goes up there.
Gotcha.
It's
Okay, just unfair if you do that.
spot. Yeah.
Wait.
He's saying like don't go up on top until it's 5 versus 5. Otherwise, it's a really unfair advantage.
Yeah.
So what
There's
I
fucking
did,
rules
what I
here.
did was wrong.
Like
You fucking animals.
Tell him he's
How do-
right, because there's not stairs in the
you-
in the real world. So
so, what you just saw him do, if you're watching KYS, is once you down an enemy, then you can zip tie them to make sure they can't be revived. Good try, Tom.
How'd you get the game,
oh,
GG?
thanks.
Last week, and this is probably like my 3rd game. I played like the original way back in the day, like 2002.
Oh, this is the first AA I've ever played.
Oh yeah.
Oh my god.
I pushed past his grenade. Oh, there was 2 people? What? Bob! Bob, friendly fire!
How do you
Who's our boy?
ask him if it's okay to heal people before they go upstairs?
I'm sure that's fine.
I'm just kidding. I just could have saved him this whole time and didn't.
Hey, that's our boy, all right? You watched our boy die. Oh, Ebola Z's in here? Dude, look at Ebola Z. He's fucking got
Ebola
rank,
Z,
bro.
We got Flynn Stoney. This server's growing.
Went down hard, boy. You know what I do like about this game? They have a lot of tracer rounds. Like, you
Yeah,
you always
can
see
where the
tracer
bullets are
rounds.
coming from. See, Tom is staring at a
Heal
body.
the moose,
He's like,
man. There you go.
Can I put a bandage on that man? Yes, you can.
and it revived him.
You just wrap a bandage around his face and push down like you're giving him one compression.
Just
He's
like-
back. He's back in business.
Just like in real life. Oh,
I gotta say, for a free game, it's actually not that bad.
right? I mean, it works, right? It's a first-person shooter.
yeah,
Yeah,
it
it
is.
functions.
Realistic military-based first-person
Yeah,
shooter.
it's functioning.
After we did the Punk Buster fix, it's functioning.
That's true.
Yeah.
We should bring that up on the podcast, I guess. I haven't been able to play this game because we've been trying to play this game for what, a month now, maybe 2?
Yeah, I wanted you to try it out and do a pre-play, and I was the only one who get it to work for some reason. Because it's because Frank has so many cheats running on his computer throughout all the different games he plays. But no, Punkbuster probably isn't a term that many people have heard since the early 2000s. It was a popular anti-cheat program back then. But yeah, they use that for their anti-cheat, and from what I read, is not that effective. But because of the size of the community that plays this game, cheating is not a huge issue, really. There's better games to cheat in, I guess. As far as the gameplay mechanics go, this is a tactical military shooter, so realistic weapon models, a couple hits and you're out. Most missions or most maps are classic FPS kind of modes. Capture these points, eliminate the enemy team like a team deathmatch, hold control points, plant or defuse a location. So it feels like an early Call of Duty or early Battlefield, like Battlefield 1942, without the arcade feel that a lot of FPS has these days, or SOCOM, if you guys played that game at all back in the day. All right, so let's talk about the publisher developer. There's no way to get around it. It's generally at the forefront of everyone's mind when this game comes up. It's made by the U.S. Army. It was branded as a strategic communication device designed to allow Americans to virtually explore the Army at their own pace and allow them to determine whether becoming a soldier fits their interests and abilities. So it is a not too subliminal in that it's a recruiting tool. That is the purpose of it. And you are, like we've talked about, you are shown a join the Army commercial between every round or between every map load. So how this all came to be, the answer to that is locked behind the paywall of a New York Times article, but so they don't want you to know the truth, but it's a discounted rate of $1 a week to know the truth, but I'm going to tell you the truth anyway. So Lieutenant Colonel Casey Wardinsky, he was the director of Office of Economics and Manpower Analysis at West Point. He is the guy who's generally credited with originating this game. He had two sons who were fans of the game Delta Force, which was a early 2000s, maybe late 90s game actually, which was one of the more realistic military games back in the day. And with his mission of hiring 80,000 young adults in 2002, he concluded that releasing a high quality game for gamers would be a good way to reach the budding computer whizzes, as they said in that article. That's us. We're budding computer whizzes.
I'm an early bud.
Not
I was gonna say, I'm like, I don't think I've bloomed.
Still budding.
Yeah.
Still budding. From this article describing America's Army, the first game, they talk about how they used the teams at the modeling. Oh, this is a title here. The Modeling Virtual Environments and Simulation Institute at the Naval Postgrad School in Monterey, it's a lot of words, to accurately model all of the guns that they wanted to be in the game. And they also worked on each gun, how it affects stance, the gun spray while running, how that would vary. And they also said they didn't want to use violence as an entertainment vehicle, so there's no sprays of gore when you shoot people, although I think in this version of the game they'd have like little puffs of red when you hit people. The beta version of this released on July 4th, because America, in 2002. It had more than 500,000 downloads in a few days, causing them to rush to put more servers online. And again, in the article, they publicly say they hope it will cut down on one of their biggest expenses, recruiting. Doug Smith, an Army recruiting spokesman, said they spend about, you guys want to guess how much it costs to recruit each soldier? In the Army.
$80,000.
$80,000 in recruiting. Okay, too high.
I would say probably closer to like 10,000.
Okay. Bob, what you got? Throw
5,000.
Okay. Tom, you're the closest. It's 15,000 is how much they spend to recruit each soldier. At least that's what the number was back in the day, in 2002. So now for some numbers on our tax dollars, which have been tricky to pin down. I'm going to have you guys guess what the development cost for the game was. We're going to talk about America's Army, the first one. I want to get you guys in the right ballpark. And it's difficult to find like a complete list of like what all games cost to make. There are some high-end ones, like Battlefield 4 was supposedly $100 million to develop. GTA 5 was supposedly $250 million. Ubisoft has some numbers out there saying like a DS title costs about $1 million, and a PS3 360 game, they're about $20 million. Of course, they're AAA developers. Dragon's Lair, which we did, was $3 million back in 1983. EverQuest was $3 million as well. Unreal Tournament was $2 million. Black and White was 5.7. So that gets us to this game. What do you guys think this game cost to develop? What did the U.S. Army pay for this?
$10 million.
I would say $10 million is what you say. All right.
I want to say with the government's tendency to overspend, I'm gonna guess 20.
I was also going to say
Bob?
20, so I'm going to say 21. The price is right.
So this game, $7.6 million.
Yeah.
Came in
Look at
a
that.
little cheaper than you might expect. And then, although they did have an ongoing $2.5 million a year for updates to keep new stuff rolling out, and I assume development of the new games that they rolled out over the years, and $1.5 million for infrastructure each year. So you would clock in at about $5 million or $4 million a year after the $7 million. Any guesses on what is the highest projected cost for a game? Like out of any video game, just a random stat I found. What is the highest cost video game?
Would it be like World of Warcraft because it's like ongoing?
They might not just have. Maybe they just don't have the numbers for that. But no, that wasn't in here.
Yeah, I bet you that's probably pretty high. But that'd be hard to because it's like an ongoing thing. So I guess
big budget one.
Is it an MMO or is it not?
I have two here. There's one MMO and there's one that is not an MMO.
And one isn't World of Warcraft.
Close, very close to Eve. There's a game that's like Eve and No Man's Sky that no one knows about.
Oh yeah, no, we know about it. There's plenty of videos about
Starfield.
Yeah.
Star Citizen.
Yep.
Star Citizen, baby.
Does not have a release date yet. Is still in production. It is over 400 million is its budget so far. And the other one is Cyberpunk. Cyberpunk, along with its marketing, clocked in at 316 million. Yeah, I don't think they recouped nearly enough money yet.
Not yet. They will.
They'll get there. Selling.
They got that. They got that. Fuck You Witcher 3 money, so they'll be all right.
They got that Netflix contract. So anyway, estimates of America's Army 1 estimated to be at 7.6 million in development, then around 4 million a year for updates and maintenance. At that rate, they figure that if it draws in 300 to 400 recruits in the first year, it will have been worth the cost. Did they do it? I don't really know, but I do have some information later that seems like it did. They also hoped it would cut down on the amount of recruits who wash out in the first couple of weeks, because from their figures, they lose about 14% of recruits in training. Then there's that $15,000 down the drain. So initial reaction to this game was really good. It was very odd to have uniformed officers at E3 where you would test a game instead of like being next to scantily clad women. The buzz about this game was immediate because people were impressed by the quality of the game, maybe just being surprised. But so I asked you guys at the beginning, had you guys ever played this, heard of it? I very specifically do remember like this game coming out and like everyone being surprised, like, yeah, it's a recruitment tool, but it's pretty good, like, I mean, we were all playing Counter-Strike at the time. It was a different kind of gameplay. I mentioned SOCOM before. There was a popular PlayStation game, and this was like that in the early days of multiplayer online. So someone uploaded this footage of it's got to be like 120 pixels wide, but it is the setup of the America's Army E3 booth. They're like anti-air vehicles, like operational and rotating around, and they're doing like a bugle thing while they raise up the America's Army logo on their booth. And then they have this big display while they're doing their introduction, and they have a SEAL team raid in like with their guns pointed at the audience a little too closely, it looks like. But yeah, everyone in their gear, and then they have some people rappel down. They make it seem like there's a helicopter above, but there wasn't. But yeah, no. Rappelling down like a face first rappel. That's badass.
That is pretty badass.
Yeah, so that was their presentation at E3, something that E3 usually doesn't really see. So a lot of buzz about the game, and it had a big impact at first, and they're showing a little bit of footage of the original game there. I do want to show what the original 2002 game looks like, because what we're getting now is a different experience than the 2002 game. So some more info on development. The game has always been on Unreal Engine. I think right now we're on Unreal 3, or maybe it's still on 2. On their FAQ page, there is the question. People posit, why can people outside the United States play the game? And they answer on their website, we want the whole world to know how great the U.S. Army is. So there it is. I've jumped around on a few different servers, and I've actually been surprised, aside from the game that we did tonight, almost every server that I jumped in, seems like I think there's a couple Scottish people, folks from the EU and UK that, not Americans until tonight. So it's got some international popularity.
It seems a little silly to ask that question, though. Be like, why do you not let them? It'd be like, it's because it's a game. Have fun.
Look, we don't know how to do.
I don't think anyone asked
IP
that question.
bans,
I think they just put that on the website. The Army, like I said, the Army's obviously stated several times as a recruitment tool, and in a testimony to the armed Senate, that'd be cool though, and a testimony to the Senate Armed Services Committee, Deputy Chief of Personnel Timothy Maud said the game aims to become a part of youth's culture consideration set. So let me say it. Become part of the youth culture's consideration set. A very, very bureaucratic way of saying they're trying to recruit kids. But according to their stats, 28% of players will at some point click through to the ads to the Go Army website. So those ads that you saw,
people just omitted the words on accident. Yeah.
And with 20 million players, that's 28% of 20 million. That's maths, baby.
Look,
And
I-
it's just
I-
helping,
click-through
their
right
organic SEO. You know what I mean? So
I'll be honest.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm going to be an outlier here, but like I don't think it's necessarily a bad idea.
Yeah.
You know what I
Maybe.
mean? Like I mean like they've got to recruit somehow. You know what I mean? Like they should be like. It doesn't weird me out that they're going to be doing recruiting, and like as long as like I don't know. I don't think the game's like overtly like
There you go.
offensive
Tom,
or
pro
anything.
psyop. That's fine.
yeah.
So as we're talking about it, let's talk about the
Oh,
controversy.
we're all
That's
on the
next
same
section
team
I
this
have here.
time.
Oh, we're
there
so
you
fucked.
go.
We're never gonna win.
Well, I tried reviving you, and I got wrecked.
Bob's the one
Teamwork.
fucking killing people.
Yeah, I've alluded to it some, but we'll talk about some of the concerns here. So on the negative side, or on the concern side, let's call it, this is taxpayer funded. Our monies, our citizen monies went to creating this video game. Two, it's not a training tool. Like sometimes people say like, oh, they're using it for training. It's not. It's just a recruitment tool, although the engine that they built it on does have some other uses that I'll talk about later. It is targeted specifically to high schoolers. They have said that. Another point that it's not a thorough explanation of what the military is. It focuses, some people say, on just the fun part related to video games without, obviously risk of life or limb or mental health. And as the Iraq Veterans Against the War group says, it glorifies certain parts of war and glosses over the bitter realities of fighting and killing other men. Another concern is quoting an unnamed Air Force colonel. He says, the video game generation is worse at distorting the reality of war from the virtual nature. It teaches you to compartmentalize it. So he's saying that's bad, that it becomes, desensitizing. And one more negative, kind of more on targeting the high schoolers.
Oh shit! I just got choked out.
Holy cow, you got close quarter combat?
Yeah, and I did
Did-
too earlier.
Yeah.
Oh, me too.
Oh, that guy,
Ah!
he got all three of us.
Oh my god, what a gamer.
Just so you know, I was cooking a bomb, so I killed us both.
God damn, he fucking choked three
Did
of
you
us
learn that in
out.
the army, Tom?
I'm surprised I'm having this feeling. I haven't really. We talked about this only briefly before. I think I disagree with the criticisms. I really do.
Okay.
I
Let me get through my last one here.
Okay.
So the last one on targeting high schoolers, the ACLU, those guys, they point out that the recruiting practice with this game may actually violate international laws, as the U.S. itself has agreed not to expose children under 17 to military recruitment practices. Meanwhile, the development of this game, they clearly are talking about how they're targeting a demographic that has to be just over 13 because the game is rated at 13 years old. So
God
yeah,
damn it.
yeah. So they're, oh my god, this guy is
No, it was a
Me
different
too.
guy.
monster.
He did it
All
to
of
me
them are
too.
doing it.
They're
They're all
just
doing
all
it to
going
us. Because they're
chokeholds.
probably talking in their team chat like, these guys suck. Let's just choke them all out to death.
Okay, you got to stay together, stay in a group. Don't let them do it.
like a horror movie, just back to back,
Yeah.
everyone.
Zip tie that motherfucker, Bob.
Yeah, that's so he can't get revived.
Oh, fuck.
Is he dead? Can you just shoot him again when he's on the ground? Or that's like against...
How do you zip tie people the same thing that you bandage your friends?
I think it's the same way, yeah.
I can't see shit.
What is happening, Bub? Oh, you're blind.
Yeah, I was. Oh no,
think
got
they're
me,
behind
got
you,
me.
Bob.
I was
watching a
blinded.
spectator. I'm like, why are you just letting them run by?
I couldn't see. I couldn't see on my screen.
Fuck.
Oh my
Dude,
god.
oh no, Harry Moose is on them now.
Oh, he
he's on
swapped,
our
he
side now.
swapped, he
Thank God. Oh man, we need you, Moose.
Yeah, I'm coming. Bye.
Harry Moose is on the way.
Dude, Harry Moose is on the loose.
I feel so bad for fucking choke acing you guys.
I was like, they're all just fucking choking us to death.
Yeah, I don't want to get choked to death anymore.
Or do you want me to go through the pro list? I can go through the pro list and then we can talk about
Well,
it.
you know what? Before going through the pro list, so that there's
Yeah.
no advantage to me. I mean, I'm not gonna I get where they're coming from, but okay. So, few things. One, that's made by taxpayers. Okay, well, that's everything that they do. Everything.
Yeah.
So
Whether they're spending the $15,000,
Right.
through typical means or making a video game. Yeah.
right. So like, it feels silly to me to like start to nitpick. Like, if you just filed this under recruiting and you were like, we spent money on recruiting, then I'd be like, okay, there's no problem there. So the taxpayer money thing, to me, moot point. The high schoolers thing, it's like saying that this being in the army isn't like a viable like choice. I think it's a a viable choice of career path, and there are plenty of kids who have. Sorry, I'm also trying to like not to
Play at the same time.
Play at the same time.
Tactically not get choked out. Yeah, I gotcha.
I saw a guy and he disappeared. He's like a ninja. I don't. Oh
I just
my
watched
gosh.
Frank so tactically run into a broom closet. And
Oh my
clear it
god.
out.
That was
Did you
impressive.
see that? I just took out two. Wait. How do I
manage
manage these guys? Okay. Oh.
Turn around.
Oh, F to secure.
Don't bandage. Yeah, don't bandage your enemies. You gotta zip tie them.
Okay. Oh. Watch out, bad guys
Oh,
are
God.
probably coming. Alright, hold on.
He's trying to get you. Don't let.
Yeah. God damn it, he still choked me out.
The first time you were getting, last game when you were getting choked out and I shot him. This time I put like 9 rounds through you.
I know. I got the hits. Don't worry.
Like I killed you and I'm like, don't kill my friend, and I proceeded to kill you both. There's nothing wrong with that. I guess is what I'm saying. Like being in the military, there's nothing wrong with that choice, and I think it's a solid career choice. And like people make up a lot of their minds of which directions they're going to go in high school. So like targeting towards high schoolers again seems like okay, that's fine with me. I got no problem with that. And then the game listing the horrors of war as and like yes, that is that like I think that's but like for a recruiting tool, you know what I mean? Like, can you imagine if they did that? Can you imagine if they'd be like, join the army. You'll learn how to do cool mechanical things and do this, but you may have to take another human life, and it will change you forever. You will watch your brothers in
Close your
arms.
eyes at night.
There's a chance, right, that you'll watch your brothers in arms die, and it will inalienably ruin your existence. And no, of course you
Right.
wouldn't fucking do that. But like, would you do that for police officers either? No, like like anything that like you'll firemen like.
I imagine the argument is that the game shouldn't be made not to do both of those.
Right. Oh, okay. So I mean, I don't know. I guess to me, if there was something that like was, if the game allowed you to like make weird ethical decisions and stuff, as maybe I'd be like, well, you're representing the army. It's kind of weird that you're allowed to like do something super fucked up. Yeah. But as far as like it just being like, hey, this is for like tactical, like that's what we're going for. It's just like the experience of like what it would be like to move through a firefight. And I feel like the majority of servicemen like are not living that life.
I'm pretty sure they're not shooting at all. They're just gonna try and melee us the whole
I'm
time.
getting some kills. I watched Frank, I think, get dismantled by. He's purposely trying to melee you. Yeah.
Listen, if you think they're getting close, just start cooking a grenade. Take them out.
It's the honorable way.
It felt. Good work. Oh, that was Harry Moose.
Yeah, Harry Moose is the only one left. He's hiding behind some bushes.
Not until 5v5 is rules.
Right, but
Like a true American.
taking the stairs is unethical.
He's hiding in a bush. It's fine. But...
Right.
Yeah, god damn it, Tom. Didn't you listen what Harry Moose said? That's why, dude.
Well,
that's
at
why
what
he
level
fucking
can you
ruled.
hide in a
That's the
bush?
established rule.
He didn't want to be on our team. He realized he had to be on our team. That's how bad we were.
On the pro side of like the controversy, I suppose, this game has recruited people. An Army recruiter told Washington Examiner that it was a more effective recruitment tool than any other method. A private Doug Stanbro, which is a name, he told Christian Science Monitor in 2006 that he never really thought about military before playing this game. And another point is positive PR, because out of 4 out of 100 recruits in 2006 at Fort Benning credit America's Army as the primary factor for them joining the military. Another point, like I'm going to count this as a positive, that it can be good that it provides some desensitization from a sergeant. Oh, I don't know how to pronounce your name, Sergeant Sinique Suarez. 4 years after the release of the game, he was firing his 50 cal machine gun at insurgents for only the second time ever firing it, and he is quoted as saying, "It felt like a big video game. It didn't faze me shooting back. It was just natural instinct. Boom, 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 boom."
Yeah, I don't know if.
So I'm saying it's a positive because in that situation it could have saved his life. You know, the compartmentalization.
Well, who really were these insurgents?
Let's be clear.
So the article also said the so-called insurgents. So a little asterisk on that one.
Yeah, you know.
So
did they live there first? Were they? Why were they fighting him?
Also,
Did maybe we do something to the people there?
If that guy never played America's Proving Grounds, America's Army Proving Grounds, I seriously doubt this is the only game he ever played. Like, it seems...
Yeah, any game could have done that.
Right. Well, and not... let's be honest. If we're talking about being, like, desensitized, like, this is really not that gruesome.
Oh,
there are plenty.
for
there
sure.
are plenty of games.
No, he was specifically citing America's Army as like it's a game he's played a lot, but 100% there are more desensitizing media out there, not just games. So,
yeah, absolutely.
And two more things. There's one story about how a lesson from the original game, the original game. I think I have a screenshot of it somewhere. So the original game had some training montages about like things to do in certain situations, and they gave it in the most accurate to Army real life way possible, which was you sitting in a classroom looking at a PowerPoint presentation.
Let's let that happen.
As you can see on stream there, you are literally sitting there looking at... And someone said that they, from the training in this game, the medic training, that they actually saved a life. That's what the article says, that they found someone unconscious, I think, after crashing, and they used combat training they learned in America's Army to save a life. So there you go. That's got to be a positive, right? And
what? I don't believe that.
Yeah, well, I was going to say, surely it can't be what we've experienced. You pressed a bandage to their head.
No, this was... no, this is from the original America's Army game. They did have, like, classes that you would, like, sit through for training in the games that you could unlock other classes. I should take a step back and point out that everything in the game, Proving Ground, is a little bit different than the other America's Army game in that it's more just jump right into the action. And what you're playing right now is all the weapons and attachments unlocked, which is what they did with the final patch of the game. So everything is accessible now. There is no more like unlocking tree. In the original America's Army game, to do certain roles like be a sniper, you had to go through their entire sniper training montage, which is, you know, pretty unique and like gives some credence to like, this is a serious thing and you need to do training to be able to do the things, you know? So I guess if that system appeals to you, that would get you prepared for training in the Army, I suppose. 30% of all Americans aged 16 to 24 had a more positive impression of the Army because of this game, which seems really inflated. And those who played it were more...
Real quick. I would like to... So, based off of that description of the previous games and how you needed to sit through, I could see how that would be a better recruitment tool.
Yeah.
And how the whole system could have, you know, prevented or like desensitizing and letting you be more prepared for what you're going to do than this game. So I kind of get it better now.
Like they were talking about like preventing washout in the first couple of weeks, right? If you're ready to do like the training and stuff, like, yeah, I mean, I suppose so. This, like, you're just jumping into the action. You know, it feels a lot more like Counter-Strike than what the original America's Army game was about. So when the original game came out, other 2002 games worth mentioning, so you can kind of get a handle on its reception. Battlefield 1942 came out in 2002, which was a very good game. Medal of Honor Frontline, Tom Clancy's Splinter Cell. And when Proving Grounds came out, this game right here, if you want to put this in context with other games that were coming out, BioShock Infinite, GTA 5, The Last of Us, Battlefield 4, and Splinter Cell Blacklist, and Dota 2. That's when this game came out. You guys are probably stream sniping, right?
Very, very sneaky.
I could see him behind the door and you didn't.
Oh, he's got a big boy that joined our team, rank 42.
So something that I think they're making a ton of use of, and we're probably not. We're using. I'm talking over you guys and everything. There's a lot of audio cues in this game. You can hear every direction that people are walking in. So a lot of the game in the bigger maps is like holding corners and like just holding these angles down and very slowly moving up together. This one that we're playing is a little more like rushing around in Counter-Strike style. Let me take a step back to talk about the series. We talked about how America's Army 1 came out in 2002. So the original was released in 2002. I already showed some footage of the E3 presentation where they had literal tons of military equipment around their booth and soldiers rappelling down to reveal their logo. You can find links out there on the internet to download the original game actually still. On like oldgames.com, places like that. And hypothetically, it has private servers still running, so you could probably still play that game. It looks like an FPS from 2002. A lot like early Counter-Strike. It had training modes, the expected kind of Counter-Strike-like multiplayer map. And there's also supposedly a 2D RPG game where you like follow the career in the military, getting promotions and learning values and stuff. I looked and I couldn't find any footage of that, but it apparently exists. Next, they released version 2, or Special Forces. And why Special Forces? Well, as Wagner James Awe explains in an article by the Moves Institute. He said that the DoD wanted to double the number of Special Forces soldiers. So orders trickled down the chain of command, and then they're making an America's Army focused on Special Forces. So that's why. It was kind of just a revamp of the original game. So it is literally version 2 of America's Army. It replaced that version. So despite it being a patched America's Army, it's just known as America's Army 2 or AA Special Forces. At this point, like, the games are fairly successful, and there's apparently some tension and political fights between the Navy and the Army as far as the game gained some popularity, and the Navy didn't feel like they were being properly acknowledged for their contributions to the game. Then in 2009, America's Army 3 was released. This one moved to Unreal Engine 3. So I was wrong earlier. Then in 2013, out comes the game we're playing this evening, America's Army Proving Ground, or if you prefer, AA4. This game, in comparison to the others, has had a pretty consistent release of maps. It stresses small unit tactical maneuvers and training that reflects the current day Army, is what they say. Let's see. Any other thoughts on the game? Gameplay, how are you guys enjoying it?
Honestly, it's
not bad. It feels like a early. And honestly, it doesn't feel like a 2013 shooter. It feels more like a mid 2000 shooter. But besides that, it works.
I'd say even a little further than that, because like mid 2000s, I'd say like Combat Arms. This feels a little bit better than that.
Yeah, it reminds me of 1.6 Counter-Strike, which I think was like up until what? Should I tell Tom where he is? He's behind the desk on your right, Tom. Right there. Left side.
Wait, what do you mean
left side of that desk? Left side of the desk. Wow, we're cheaters. Oh my god, dirty
they don't know
cheaters.
That. But I'll never tell.
Hopefully none of them realize, GGN cast. I wonder if that guy's a podcast.
Cast in the name. Should we look at
We're
Twitch?
not doing so bad, are we? I mean, hey, listen. Prior to that, I killed some guys.
Did everyone install the game, like create the account for the game tonight? Is that new for everyone?
Yeah, for me.
Well, I did it a couple days ago, or no, a month ago, whenever we first talked about this.
Okay, so now is the time that I should bring up who got an email from a recruitment officer.
Oh, should I?
I got an email from a recruitment officer, and you guys probably will too.
How quickly?
I think like 3 days afterwards. Let me read it to you. But my name is SFC so-and-so. I'm an Army recruit officer in the area. He mentions my county, and I see you've requested some information about the Army. This is my email and my number here. If you're still interested, give me a call or shoot me an email or text. Yeah, so I got my message from my local recruitment office after signing up to play this video game. And
please email them back and ask them what rank they are in the game.
Oh.
How far did you make it? That's all I want to know.
I bet you on there, and they don't know that. They just get
it's probably an email saying, whatever information.
Pre-populated email.
Yeah, that's some information that I didn't put into my notes because I thought it was complete bullshit. But there's a few websites out there talking about how, like, the dangers of this, propaganda recruiting tool. And one of the sites that went pretty far down that path was talking about how, these recruitment booths where they have these virtual game experiences that they know exactly who you are when you sign up. They've got your information and they're logging like even how you are playing on an account, so they can like measure your like kill to death ratio and how you play the game and whether you're a good candidate.
Ludicrous
and
to
that's
me.
Bullshit.
That's
yeah,
not
nobody,
true.
Nobody has that time. Nobody has that time. They don't care. It's just you signed up and they're going to contact you. That's all there is.
And
to it.
not only not the time, but there's no correlation between moving a mouse
for sure.
and firing a gun. Like there's like your nothing. Even tactically, that's part of I guess my thought is like even tactically speaking, everything that we're doing in this is insane. You know what I mean? Like we're not playing that the way that they would like cheat you in the future. You know what I mean? But like if you're interested, here's my thing. If you want to play a first-person shooter, right? How many options do you think you got? It's just
so many options.
So many. So for some reason, out of all of those options, some of which are known to be fantastic options, you chose America's Army Proving Grounds, right? Mm-hmm. I would argue outside of just like pure curiosity, which sure, like that's going to happen. There's going to be curiosity. The other factor is that you're looking into it because you're like, oh, I'm kind of interested in Army. I wonder what their thing is, you know?
Yeah.
Like, why aren't you playing COD otherwise? You know what I mean? Like, why are you playing this game? Like, it's not going to be as good.
Yeah.
So I mean, like I feel I don't know. It just seems to me like there is an established interest.
There's a way to like maybe there is valuable information you could gather about someone's psychology as a recruiting tool, but not from a game like this.
No.
This is a first person shooter tactical game. It's not a deep psychological game like.
But I would argue that there's an interest. Is all I'm saying. Is that like. It could be that like, hey, someone's playing the game. Maybe they are a little interested in the army.
Yeah.
You know, let's shoot them an email.
So when we say propaganda, maybe not all propaganda is bad. The most famous series of U.S. propaganda films, the Why We Fight films, that if you've ever seen like what did Steve Rogers watch in Captain America? It was probably one of those Why We Fight films. That was propaganda that was used to bolster troops for World War II. But after the Pearl Harbor attacks is when they were ordered the films made.
Hey, Chris, what did we do before the Pearl Harbor attacks? No, we didn't do anything when we only stepped in after Pearl Harbor.
Oh yeah. It's true.
We knew things were going on and we just let it happen. And then we're now, we got to fight.
Well, they poke the bear, as they would say.
Yeah, exactly.
So in my research, I ran across the term militainment, which is a form of entertainment that celebrates the military. Not quite produced directly by the Pentagon, but they're involved in some way. So we're going to play a little game called PSYOP, or just a fan of the military-industrial complex. You can just say PSYOP or not. But in this game, you have to tell me whether the movie project I mentioned received support from the military or not. Got it? You guys ready?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, so this is a film fun fact. So to use like the military and any of their stuff, and like you have to agree not to disparage them. So, if they featured a lot of their stuff, it's probably a PSYOP.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we're gonna get into it. So, Apollo 13.
Not.
I could see that as a PSYOP, a NASA PSYOP, I guess.
Okay, yeah, gonna say so. I mean, look, some of them can be in the gray area, but yes, PSYOP because NASA offered them to use the Houston, Texas control room for filming, though they ended up building their own. Then they also used NASA employees as consultants, and they used USS New Orleans as the recovery ship when they're picking up the shuttle at the end, or the drop pod at the end. Spoiler alert, it makes it back to Earth. Everyone's okay. They also used a KC-135, which is a kind of plane that can go high enough in the atmosphere, and they do a controlled drop to simulate weightlessness. And they famously filmed most of the weightless scenes in 23 seconds at a time, because that's how much time of weightlessness they had doing. Okay, here's one for you. 1998's Godzilla.
Seems like a PSYOP.
It seems like it. Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll say PSYOP. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, PSYOP. I don't have a lot of notes on this one, but the Wikipedia does say that the U.S. Marine Corps participated in filming the movie, and this is a quote: an F-18 Marine Reserve pilot actually piloted the plane that fired the missile that killed Godzilla. So spoiler for that, but also the way that they wrote it made me feel like wait, did that actually happen? Did they actually kill Godzilla? Let's see. Reservoir Dogs.
No.
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 No, I just added that to the list. I don't know how the military would be involved with that.
That doesn't even make sense.
Illumination Pictures' The Secret Life of Pets.
I hope not.
I also hope not.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, no, it's just an animated movie about pets. How about 2012's
It's a
Zero
rip
Dark
off
30?
of Toy Story, but yeah, sure.
Yes.
2012's Zero Dark 30.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh yeah. 100%.
Yeah, absolutely. The CIA collaborated extensively with the production of it, and we're just going to leave it at that, because after Frank's trying to get us sued, and we're towing the line with this one. So, how about The Hurt Locker?
Yep.
Yeah.
No.
Point for Tom, because they famously did without any Pentagon assistance, and is notably critical of U.S. military.
It's funny. I was
involvement
actually
and support.
I based my answer off of Frank, because Frank said that.
Oh, because they have to be not disparaging.
To be fair, I haven't seen any of those. I've never seen Zero Dark 30 or The Hurt Locker.
Hurt Locker in particular is a fantastic movie, but definitely the takeaway would not be like, it wasn't like super pro,
Right. It's not. I'm going to join the army.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. If it's not pro, then they.
Or another movie for you, The Karate Kid Part 2.
Karate Kid Part 2.
Yes.
Karate Kid Part 2.
I'm going to say no.
Okay, Bob.
You know what? Let's go. Yes, I'm in for it.
Yeah, so I'm going to say PSYOP, and this is where I found myself in a bit of a rabbit hole that I had to pull myself out of. There's a website called spyculture.com by a British-based journalist, Tom Secker, who writes about security services, Hollywood, propaganda, censorship, terrorism, but he did a Freedom of Information request on every film that the DoD has been involved in. He's actually done a few and has received back a list of over 500 film names. So he has this list without any necessary context, just the DoD says that they were in some way involved with it. So like Karate Kid 2, my guess is that it was filmed in Okinawa where there's a big military presence, so I assume some of the land that they used
well, that's the whole premise of the movie is like the little town isn't what it used to be, and the military base is right there.
Well, that gets me to what I'm getting to. Frank, real quick, could you explain the plot of Karate Kid 2? No.
Yeah, sure.
All right, how about X-Men First Class?
Ooh.
X-Men First Class. I'm gonna say
I'm also
no.
saying no. Let's roll with it.
Okay, he's gonna say no.
No.
All right, you said no as well. Okay, so I'm going to play a little video here. 100% PSYOP in contractual writing. They actually did a sponsorship deal with the producers with ads telling you, like in the ads, they say you could live out your own superhero. You could live out your own superhero fantasies.
I've never seen that
real
before.
Life battlefields. Yeah, and it looks like they used some military bases and ships in some shots from the movie as well. But yeah, not just the using their props and stuff, but yeah, no, they're like X-Men First Class. You can be just like them. Join the army. That's a weird one.
I've never seen that commercial before. Damn.
Yeah. How about Top Gun?
Yeah, obviously. So hard.
Little easy. Yeah. So 25 years before X-Men First Class comes out, and this is an article that I found that was talking about X-Men First Class and Top Gun. Jerry Bruckheimer made the movie in collaboration with the Pentagon, coming out in the mid 80s with post-Vietnam military. The military was polling low in popularity. It proved to be a major form of resuscitating the military's image. So says the Washington Post article. Enlistment spiked after Top Gun, and the Navy actually set up recruitment tables outside of theaters, and polls showed rising confidence in the military. How much did the Pentagon actually help make this film? Apparently they worked on it hand in hand with Paramount Pictures for just a $1.8 million use of all their planes, aircraft carriers, consulting, and they got that discount though after submitting the script to the Pentagon and doing line-by-line edits. One example cited is that they changed Goose's death from a midair collision to him dying while ejecting. To be honest, I'm not sure how that's much better. I think it shows it's like a user error maybe instead of like the
more
dangers
of a freak
flying,
accident than communications and the planes being the problem.
Maybe. Spoiler again, by the way, Goose dies from ejecting from his seat and banging his head on the canopy. But in 1991, the Pentagon's liaison to the movie industry, which is a position, said that they'd seen a 70% increase in requests from filmmakers for assistance. So from mid 80s to 1991, they saw a 70% increase from filmmakers asking for assistance. In fact, the producer of The Hunt for the Red October, Mace Newfields, he said, in studios, there was an unstated rule that you need to get military cooperation or forget about making the picture. Time magazine said in 86 that without such billion-dollar props, producers have to spend an inordinate amount of time and money searching for substitutes. So yeah, the military described their relationship in 1994 to Variety as such. So the military is saying, the main criteria we use is how could the proposed production benefit the military? Could it help in recruiting? And is it in sync with the present policy? Which, you know, I mean, I can't argue with their thought process there, right? But like, it's also weird that the relationship of movie makers feeling like they need these props in their movies to be successful, and then the military leveraging them for shedding positive light on the military is a weird relationship. As the same Post article notes, for every one of those films, like The Hurt Locker, that doesn't necessarily glorify the military, you have a handful of films like Armageddon, Pearl Harbor, Battle of Los Angeles, and X-Men that does. Ironically, the writer of that article, that Post article, it was David Sirota, known... he's a writer and speechwriter for Bernie Sanders, actually. He worked on the screenplay for a recent film, Don't Look Up, which also appears to have had some assistance from the DoD, as it says, as it says on the website, Spy Culture. They noted that the script appears to have been changed for the film Don't Look Up after it was changed in ways that would have benefited the military. Who knows whether they said like change this line, remove this scene where we black bagged a journalist.
Yeah.
But maybe that is a coincidence.
Sure.
Who's to say? But either way, people don't seem to like that film. Not saying one way or another. That's if you want to use an aircraft carrier in your ship, you're gonna have to ask their permission.
That is super interesting. I wonder if with like technology getting better, just with like computer generated stuff, like if they're able to maybe not have as much of a reliance now, if that's
it seems possible. So you may think this is just a game, but it's actually more akin to the movie Gamer, which was also consulted by DoD starring Gerard Butler and Michael C. Hall. Frank, can you take it from there?
Yeah,
Tell us about Gamer.
Gerard Butler is falsely accused of
Don't tell
murder.
us about Gamer.
And his wife is a prostitute.
What is the plot of that movie, though? I don't actually know. Like, you're sent into prison and someone's controlling you?
It's like they're criminals that are also on death row. Okay. And you're controlling them remotely, like as if like right now
avatars.
In these games you're controlling like a real person. So if they die, you've effectively just carried out their death sentence. But if
it's up, they win 20 rounds or 25 rounds, they get set
then
free.
They're set free.
Oh wow!
Michael C. Hall is a Southern gentleman who's a CEO of the game company, and he's also a bad guy. You don't need him to be a bad guy. I mean, we already know he's a bad guy based off of his business, but it's like
he plays. He's weird. His character.
He's always weird. I mean, regardless of what he does, he's weird. But yeah.
But doesn't he start with like a game of The Sims? So like, essentially, you could create someone to like take over someone else and do whatever. And also,
and that's where Gerard Butler's wife
Bruce
is.
Willis movie?
Yeah, but then also he made the battle game.
He started off with the Sims avatar.
He started with like a Sims avatar thing, and he's the same technology where it's like you're controlling someone else.
Right.
But instead of doing like
natural path,
GTA shit,
I think that's what you do.
Like combat.
Supposedly they've used the backing of this for other recruitment purposes. They have like a traveling exhibit thing that they put up places called the Virtual Army Experience, where they'll have like you go in like a Humvee and there's like giant screens around you, and it's like a kind of like a semi VR kind of experience.
You know what?
They use the same technology for this. You've done it before, haven't you?
I believe I did it with a helicopter. I believe they had a helicopter one.
Oh wow!
Buzz Bake Sale or so. That one of those rock concerts. They had the Army do stuff. And it was me and my buddy, and we got into the helicopter thing, and I was piloting. I don't know if it didn't really make sense. The two people, it's like only one person's flying. I don't know. Maybe the guy was a gunner or something. And I just we got out of control, and we may have been nauseous afterwards, and it may have been all my fault.
Much like Maverick and Goose, and
I may have not been asked to be on that ride again, but okay, that makes sense.
When they recruit people, they took the paperwork back from you. Like, not you.
So we don't. Yeah, but you just keep walking, kid.
If someone does contact you by accident, just say no, it was a mistake. So they use this technology in some other recruitment events like that, and it sounds like they have used it for special training courses. I don't know. Some of what I read made it sound like they were excited about using like, well, if we have this map, how should you approach it this way, and people can learn like the movements of squads and stuff. And then other articles I read was like, no, it's never used for training, which sounds more likely that people would bother like programming a map for one training scenario. There's not a whole lot to say about the credits, the creators of this go. It's mostly people who worked on AA3. Our lead designer also worked on PlanetSide, the Sony MMO FPS, and the 1997 Spawn game, if you guys remember that. Another game designer on this game, David Kimber, also worked on another GGN, Celebrity Deathmatch. So, know your work. Put in the work, killing it over there.
Literally.
One other Army game that they sponsored I should mention is Full Spectrum Warrior. At nearly the same time the original AA was being developed, the U.S. Army's science and technology community was looking into commercial gaming platforms for specifically training, not recruiting. And with many of their recruits using video games already, they wanted to see if they could, create some technology of their own that they would use. Army-based training. They chose to proceed with the Xbox because after looking at the PlayStation, they realized they legally can't use the PlayStation platform for military purposes, although apparently you can store Chappie on it. I don't know why you're...
No, you can store... If you have 7 or 13 of them stacked on top of each other, you can store human consciousness, all right?
PS2s or PS3s?
They're PS3s.
PS3s.
Oh, you're right.
PS3s,
Sorry.
yeah. Through working with a development team, they realized the exaggerated physics that normally make a video game fun are different than what would make good training tools. So they made 2 different versions of the game. The Full Spectrum Warrior, in which you can buy today if you wanted to play it on the original Xbox, or the training version. It made it sound like you can actually like enable the training mode in the game also if we were to get our hands on a copy of that. But it's actually fairly well rated, so I don't know this is a GGN game. The game made the bold choice of limiting your first-person actions to giving commands. So it's an FPS minus the S. So it's an FP. It's first person while you're giving commands. So you're just telling the squad, go over there, squad, go over there. And you have to say it in that voice too. They intended it to be a training tool for command staff. In the end, it received a lot of flack because apparently it was a waste of money, that the Army did not actually use it, and some people were accusing them of being taken advantage of by the developer. The developer, by the way, was Pandemic Studios, maker of Star Wars Battlefront 1 and 2. Those are the 2004-2005 games. Destroy All Humans and Army Men RTS, as in like the little green men, which maybe was the inspiration.
Also, didn't they make
the
Mercenaries games?
I grabbed just a few I saw on the list. Mercenaries, yeah, Mercenaries Playground of Destruction. Yep. Mercenaries 2, World in Flames, yep, that was them. And the last game was the Saboteur, which we have talked about before. Okay, so that brings up a good point. Who is the bad guy in America Army? I've actually mentioned it in another episode.
The other team
no
is
one
always red, right?
The other team always looks like just kind of some darkly clad people, and it's not like Counter-Strike where someone's playing the terrorists and someone's playing the counter-terrorists. You are always playing as Team America. So the other team on their side, they look like their teammates and everyone looks like America.
That's smart, though, right? I mean,
yeah. I mean, don't want people playing as the terrorists, I suppose. All right, so we've talked about how this game is shutting down. What does that actually mean? Well, it means they're no longer supporting the game. The store page will be removed from the PlayStation Store, and the official servers will close on PC. However, as we have seen this evening, as browsing servers, there are a lot of private servers, and they're not actually going anywhere. People will continue to play the game. So all this news in the ramp-up of this episode that I had heard, that Proving Grounds is shutting down, it's going to be leaving, they're not supporting anymore, no more updates. That's really it, though. It's people can still play on all these private servers, but still, we're doing this episode because they're closing. It's over. No. America's Army is gone. But what we're playing now is the final patch. In the final patch, they've gone ahead and released everything so everyone can try out all the guns, attachments, map packs. It has not really made a huge impact on the player base, though. The game peaked in 2013 with 3,000 concurrent players, and it's been kind of a steady 400 to 500 over the last couple of years without no noticeable spikes when they announced the shutdown or released all the content. Because, I mean, it is, at this point, it is a 9-year-old game. It's free to play, but, I mean, so is, like, Apex Legends or Valorant.
Hey,
so,
Chris, lightning fast. Do you want to do a thing just 4 of us?
Here, everyone die in this round. Just rush in there, and then we'll find an empty server.
So I do every round.
Oh, I can change my class
Play
type.
normal. One news that you may have heard around this game is about a guy named Joseph Delap. Well, I guess you guys have only ever heard about this game from me, so maybe not. But anyone else, you may have heard of Joseph Delap, who made it a project to log in with the name Dead in Iraq and wait till he is killed, and then in chat enter the name of a soldier who was killed in the war and their date of death. He did this for 5 years and had quite a few articles written about him. So kind of as an online performance piece, and I'm sure quite a few people in the community got to know him for joining their team, their server, AFKing, and then fucking ruining the game. I'm kidding. I mean, he did this a total of 4,400 times, though. So, I mean, I'm trying to frustrate some people, I'm sure. But, I guess he made his points. Some of the articles about him quote people saying it's a thoughtful co-opting of the tools of the digital culture. On the other hand, one person wrote, "It's the same as if he were to crash into a Girl Scout meeting with him yelling through a megaphone saying that we should vote for his candidate to office. It isn't the time or place and certainly isn't the right audience," writes Private Will Kowaleski, a teacher in Pennsylvania who has played America's Army since 2003. "I'm here to play a game, not read a CNN report." That's what he says. So.
I mean, you know what you could do also? You could just ignore it like you normally do when soldiers die.
Yeah.
So... It's not like, he's if he actually went on voice chat and said it, that he's literally just typing it. It's like,
let's be honest, like looking at the list of servers, like how would you not get banned from all the servers in that time? He did it for 5 years. That's crazy. Did you pick a server, Tom?
I was waiting.
If you banned it, that'd be unpatriotic. He's giving, exposure
It's
to
true. It's
brave
this
soldiers
is
lost their
a
lives.
taxpayer paid thing. So like to ban
There's-
him, I feel like that would be the government silencing
There's
speech.
one
right
that
now.
says G Masters Funhouse. Is how's
Oh, I see me and Tom. Oh, look out.
Hey, unless it's 5v5, we just fucking shoot each other, okay? That's the rule.
But remember,
No
you can't
top. Yeah,
go
no
up on
top.
It's not 5 versus 5.
no top?
Not until it's
Yeah,
5v5.
I should have friended Harry Moose.
Good guy, Harry Moose.
He said no top.
You're up top.
We're all up top.
I'll be honest. We've played anytime we play like a multiplayer game where it's like us. I can pretty quickly be like fully entertained by just that.
Oh, yeah.
You know, like it's
Oh, motherfucker. Chris shot me in the ass.
Watch your 6. Gotta watch your 6, Frank.
He's got me.
Oh, I fell to my death.
Wait, you got him?
no. He fell. Oh,
I was trying to bandage.
I
God
didn't
damn
realize
it.
you revived him is all.
Yeah,
I
Bob
thought there was
Bob
a-
revived
revived
me. And we
And it didn't help us.
man, Chris is carrying.
Oh!
Oh no!
Yes,
Damn!
I saw.
Oh
Chris,
no!
I saw your name like coming up behind them.
God damn, that's dirty.
I literally was like, just
Broke the neck.
Is there any way to get the rocket launcher in this?
There should be, yeah.
Or is that just not in the game anymore because it's patched out?
Does he know?
Oh, God! Oh,
I was just standing behind you the whole time.
God damn it.
He's shooting green lasers at
yeah, I
me.
saw that. Very like some Star Wars shit's going on.
Oh, no!
Go to sleep, bitch.
I'm throwing grenades at Chris.
The melee.
I choked him out.
You're so fucking loud.
I'm not trying to be loud.
Everyone can hear you.
No, my friend.
They got me. Yeah, that's him. The one you looked at. That's him.
Yeah, shut up.
Oh,
You don't know me.
You got him.
goddamn
Oh,
grenades.
don't grenade my body. Just chucking the grenades right on my body.
You'll be fine.
Ah!
You got me. I took the bait.
So you try to get for healing me.
I figured one of us will be the kind of friend to try to heal our friend, and one of us will be the kind to wait.
You knew who you were.
Oh, I knew who I was. Yeah. I was like, "You're bleeding out," and I'm like, "Keep waiting."
He's got a little bit more blood he can hold.
The round ends as soon as I kill him anyway.
Looks like I brought you back.
Tom, help me. That's it. Keep moaning. You're covering the sounds of my footsteps.
Oh my god. Look at the face real close up.
So young.
Yeah.
It looks like
Yeah,
it looks like a
exactly.
tall 10-year-old.
I'm waiting for my
That's who
order,
they're
sir.
targeting, Tom.
When I was younger and had more time and was better at these games, I would have I loved like Call of Duty and stuff, but now as I'm getting older, I like first-person shooters that are just like story-driven, like me versus a computer.
Oh, really? Yeah. Not as competitive against other
Oh,
people.
just
It's
because
gotten a lot
I get
sweatier,
wasted.
too.
I get just absolutely annihilated playing against.
Same here, brother. Getting wasted every night.
Totally not Tee Bag. Is that guy's name? Totally not Tee
Teabag, we need you, baby.
Oh, look at how much his rank though. He might.
Rank 51.
He might
I think he knows how to play
annihilate
this
us.
game.
Yeah.
Should I try to scare him off?
Well, in what way? Like things you say in public chat, or
That's really all he
Never
can
mind.
do.
Not gonna do it.
or just make really close eye contact?
Well, to be fair, I knew where my friend died, and I love throwing grenades on my friend's body.
That's just a good strategy, you know.
Oh my god, this
Teabag.
guy!
Oh,
He was
Teabag.
smart, man. He
Teabag.
oh, there's someone else joined. We're bringing the server to life again.
No.
Okay, so where do we go from here? In 2018, they said they were considering features for America America's Army 5, but that was kind of the last news about that. And here we are discontinuing their, flagship game in 2022. So maybe that's it. The studio is completely closed. But from the blog post announcing the closure, they did say that like be on the lookout for things on the horizon. They don't seem to have anything specific though. So I don't know. It does seem kind of like an odd choice to like how much could it possibly be to continue to monitor these servers? Maybe there's some, what with them being the, U.S. Army, there's some legalese they have to abide to that other studios wouldn't, to monitor their servers and player information and stuff. But so from the original pitch to what they produced, did they make the game that you were expecting? What'd you think of it? What'd they get right?
I think they did a good job for what it is. I feel like the earlier renditions of the game gave a more true feeling to what it would be like to be in the armed forces than this. This is more, of a game. It's a more realistic shooter than Call of Duty would be, I guess. But it still gives you something. But also it does what it needed to do, I think. And I just feel like it's dated. And there's probably a good chance that, maybe they're working on some sort of battle royale that's even maybe more gamified because, while possibly a better retention rate with, the more realistic it was earlier on, it seems like for some reason they kind of got rid of that as the games progressed, for one reason or another.
Yeah, it progressed into the more popular style of being kind of, team deathmatch. They've always said that they focus on the teamwork, and I think you can see that makes a big difference, obviously. But you're not going to be able to carry in a game like this compared to Call of Duty. Right?
Yeah, this is more Counter-Strike than anything else. Yeah. But I would, I think they did a pretty decent job as far as American propaganda goes.
Yeah. There's been worse uses of American money, I suppose.
Yeah.
Our tax
like
dollars.
napalm on Vietnamese villages.
Wow. Yeah. Okay.
And also, before they made everything free, did you have to buy the weapon upgrades or did you unlock them?
No, you unlock them. There was never anything that you purchased for this, which would have made it pretty weird, right? Like a tax dollar thing where you spent it to earn money on something. No, there was never anything. I was unclear about the map packs. It seems like they were just optional before and you had to opt in, but now they're like included in this final patch. So that's the only kind of DLC that was added in, but it was never something you had to pay for.
I mean, all in all, it's a pretty cool game. And the fact that it's free too, it makes it even better. Where it's like, or propaganda for the army. Even then, like some of those were pretty cool, like the anti-aircraft thing and whatnot. Man, it feels like a game night. Someone's like, hey, let's play this game instead of Counter-Strike or something else. I mean, I'd be into it.
I hear you. So, hi T-Bag. You just joined our Twitch stream.
Hey T-Bag, T-Bag. Maybe vehicle combat. Use all the army's resources.
Yeah. Right, Battlefield has obviously gone off the rails as far as being absurd, but I feel like there is an army game somewhere in there using, more realistic army equipment. Actually, now that I say that out loud, I know that there is. The game Squad is exactly this. It's a very realistic military shooter that is obviously squad based. It's about working with your team. You can actually take on the roles of being like a supply truck, like you're going from this base to this forward base to bring them more ammo and stuff. And it's very much about like holding the positions that you have and slowly turtling up to the next position strategically with the right teams in place. So, I mean, there's an answer to this that's made by a private company. All right, let's talk about some critic reviews. So because this is a digital release and it being free and kind of being in a continuing state of improvement, I talked about how AA2 was just really a patch for AA1. There isn't a review for Proving Ground specifically, but the original one for America's Army did get a review, and we saw some footage of that, and I think the critics' thoughts have kind of continued along with this series. So if Proving Ground had a review, it would be the same. So what do you guys think? Where is America's Army on Metacritic? 0 to 100.
Well, okay, here's the thing. The American propaganda aspect of it could play a big part. You know what I mean? They could really take off some points for that. But also, it depends on who the reviewer is. You know what I mean? If it's a very patriotic reviewer, it could be extra points. If it's not patriotic reviewer who, could see that it's kind of fucked up, might give it less points because of that. So it could kind of go either way.
Some PBS tote bag carrying guy.
Yeah.
I gotcha.
So... Ah, shit. You know what? I'm just gonna go crazy. I'm gonna go wild. I'm gonna say 72.
72. Okay, Tom, what do you think? Metacritic. What do they say about America's Army?
I'm gonna say 60.
60. And Bob, Metacritic 0 to 100.
You know what? And this number was in my head before the other two numbers. I'm gonna stick to 65.
65. All right. This was actually 82. Yeah, not nearly as much cynicism as maybe I would have had, or maybe I would have expected. Yeah, so Tiki Bag, who we were playing with, it feels to me like a mix of an older style shooter mixed with a little bit of new flair. It's completely balanced, no in-game money. BS makes you feel better, just pure skill. Yeah, absolutely. All right, so we're gonna read some of the reviews here.
From PC Arena, they gave it a 90. For a free game that's admittedly an interactive recruiting poster, AA is a great game.
Tom, what you got?
PC Game World 75, a stripped-down, bare-bones, tactical multiplayer shooter. The simplicity of the title detracts considerably from gameplay, but it still cannot prevent the game from being fun.
What's PC Gamer say?
All right, PC Gamer gave it an 88. They said, I'd recommend this game at $50. At the cost of a quick snatch and grab from the nearest recruiting station, it is easy a must play.
There you go. And that actually, I didn't know what the hell he was talking about at first, because this has always been a digital download. But in 2003, it's a couple gigs to download, so it was more reasonable to go buy a recruiting station and grab the CD-ROM. I'm pretty sure that I had a copy of the CD-ROM of this game. I'm pretty sure I remember seeing that sitting in my rack for a while, yeah. All right, so we heard from some of the critics. This is it going to soon be someone else's garbage? I mean, it's not really going in the trash, like we said. That its death is greatly exaggerated. The servers will still be there, it just won't be supported anymore. But we will hear from some of the reviewers. We heard from Tiki Bag about all his love for this game in chat. Bob, whenever you're ready.
All right. Leapy says, pros, can play with friends. Cons, I have no friends. 10 out of 10, would recommend.
Tom, you got a review there?
Sugarman with 3,063 hours on record. It's okay, I guess. ... Recommended.
Frank?
Electrolyte says, please don't draft me. Recommended.
And one more, Bob.
All right. This is from Gimprovise. It is sad when the U.S. Army makes a more engaging and fun shooter than most AAA.
Yeah, and for a pretty low price, too, from what we saw. So there's a lot of other positive reviews pointing out some good things for this game, and rather than reading through someone's 20,000-word dissertation, which, people do that on Steam, I wanted to highlight a couple points that we didn't really hit on. First, the community. Everyone always talks about how good the community is. It's a pretty small community, and it seems like you get to know the people that you play with, and you play on consistent teams. You saw some clan tags. So every time that I jumped on, despite it being VoIP, with your own team and enemy teams, so you can talk to each other, there wasn't any raging, any toxic behavior that I saw. I'm sure it happens, but this feels like the kind of lobby that you would find, maybe some people who love Civil War history and stuff, that know a lot about that kind of thing. They were people who were into the Delta Force games back in the early 2000s. That was the impression that I got. So another thing is that it's definitely not like Call of Duty sweaty carry. It's all about the positioning, teamwork, doing call outs and stuff. So there's a lot of tactics to it. And apparently cheaters haven't been much of an issue, like I said, because of the smaller community size. And also, obviously, whenever you have, community-controlled servers, these are privately controlled servers, so they have some autonomy over that kind of thing. And there's definitely some drama you can read about on Steam about, like, people who have put 4,000 hours into this game, and the developers don't interact with them the way that they want. But it seems like it's mostly been a community of nice, regular, but competitive players. So yeah, that's about this game. So it's time to give this game a score of our own. Our scoring system here is a little unique. Anyone can rate a game on a 0 to 10 scale, but leaves little appreciation for games that are so terrible they're enjoyable. So as normal, you've got your masterpieces like, I grabbed this from my template without putting anything in there, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, which maybe will get a 9 or a 10. And then your lower scoring games like Battlefield 2042. But as a game gets worse, it goes past 0 and you go all the way to negative 10, where it's a game that's so bad it's good. So where would you guys put this on the scale? Is it enjoyable because it's bad, or is it enjoyable because it's good? And I think we're kind of all going to be in the same ballpark with this one. But what do you guys think? Let's start with Tom. What do you think?
Well, I think it's definitely good. You know what I mean? Like it would definitely not be on that range where I'm like, oh, this is a bad game for sure. And I don't know. Maybe I'm being swayed by Teehee, because I was starting to get kind of the feel for some of those opinions, but like just hearing him say some of like the broader base of like the people that play and like the way it's set up and that people are competitive with it. But I thought it was a great point in that like there's a lot of games now where like there are these mechanics like like you're jumping into mechs or using like a grappling hook to fly around, or these like exaggerated slide moves that are appearing. And like there was one of the reviews that we just read, someone just read that the simplicity of it was from one of mine, the simplicity of the title detracts considerably from gameplay. I feel like you can make the exact inverse argument and be like no, the fact that it's simple is like what makes it attractive,
Yeah,
like
sure.
So with that said, like because it doesn't need that, nothing has to have like kill streaks and all these crazy things to happen, and like
every time you kill someone, it does like an electric guitar.
Yeah. So I don't know. I it's just crazy, but I say like a 7.5. I'm tempted to say 8.
7.5.
But
Wow.
I'll say
it's a high scoring game.
7.5.
There you go. Yeah, and Teehee Bag in chat said, as far as friends goes, great for friendships. Unlike a lot of games, this one does not auto put you in a server with random people. You usually play with the same guys. We're all really good friends now, and it does have a competitive scene. This game you can launch if you have 20 minutes until you have to go to work and just have some fun. Yeah, and that's a great point about the servers, because I grew up with Counter-Strike, and like I had like servers that I played, and obviously a lot of it had to do with like how close they were and how low the ping was. But like in games that are server based, which are dwindling nowadays, like it was a big deal that Battlefield wasn't going to do, Battlefield 2042 wasn't going to have private servers. That used to be a huge thing, that like you would host your own server. People, maybe someone we know would set up a server to host the games, and like you controlled the rules for it. You could do wacky rules for the server if you wanted to, but you could like reserve a slot, and usually you would do that by like donating to whoever is hosting the server, so you could always bump someone out and get in the server if you wanted to. It's kind of a little world that a lot of people don't know about, haven't experienced, but it was very popular back in the early 2000s. And a lot of you know each other from the very first America's Army. That's awesome. Yeah, it's great. Frank, what about you? What do you think?
As much as I don't want to give a piece of propaganda a very high score, I mean, it's a soft sell, honestly. If you don't know what you're doing with your life, and you're maybe not the smartest tool in the shed.
Hey, it's a consideration option. Is what they said, right?
It's you're probably gonna do it regardless of this game. So if you can have fun. So I'm gonna give it a 6. I'm gonna give it because it's it's decent. I feel like if I was bigger into like the Counter-Strike type games, maybe I'd give it a little higher. But I just kind of enjoy this type of games. I'd play it with like you guys, but I probably wouldn't play it something like this on my own just for fun.
Sure.
6. Yeah.
Yeah, and Teehee Bag said a lot of people have moved from America's Army to Insurgency. I'll be honest, I'm not familiar with Insurgency at all. Seems like the exact same gameplay style though, huh?
Oh, that? Yeah.
Little slower paced first person military shooter. Slower paced than Call of Duty, like it's not an arcade game. And Bob, what do you think?
All right, I'm kind of the similar page or thing. I was gonna say 6.5. I did have quite a bit of it. I think it's still a solid game. Of course, can improve some things, but all in all, that's especially for being free. I mean, that's pretty awesome.
Yeah, right.
And also, we really didn't play the game mechanics.
We kind of just
killed each other, which is kind of cool. They don't have like a deathmatch mode.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, we didn't really get to experience the mode. Yeah, we saw like the VIP mode and stuff, but I think for me, this game is fine. Like this style of shooter is for a specific person. I think like this style is. In its more polished or arcadey form, a lot of people probably would go to like a Rainbow Six or Teehee Bag in chat was saying Insurgency. If you love like holding the angles and map knowledge and stuff, a more sci-fi version of it's Valorant, right? In 2022, I don't think there's a lot going for like this version of the game. In 2013, when it came out, probably a little bit more, but I think just adding maps, it hasn't really kept up that much. But obviously, you can't say enough about the community and the friends you make along the way, right? So, and I said in the original America's Army when it came out, that was absolutely competitive as far as visually and gameplay and stuff. That was my experience of it when it first came out. So, if you love these specific mechanics, it might click for you, and you'll probably find a community of players to become good friends with for nightly gaming in the future. Me personally, I'd rather be sliding around corners and whipping shots off of bounce pads like in Apex, but that's just where I am right now. So, not for me right now. So, but I can appreciate what it is. I'd give it a 7, and so that's where I'm at, 7. Well, that is our game, America's Army Proving Ground, since they are shutting down the servers, but they're hucking it in the garbage, but not a garbage game. Just pretty solid tactical shooters, I think, where we all came in. You guys want to play some more, don't you? That's what you want.
Maybe.
If you, I'll launch it again if you want.
No, I'll do another one.
Oh yeah, just for fun.
We have to do a prize, for those who are unaware, every garbage game night, I give out a prize to the winner who got the most points for guessing things and other reasons. And the prize this evening, it's always a 3D printed prize. The prize this evening will be an Army style dog tag with your name on it and your gamer
Stolen
tag.
Valor, baby, I love it.
I mean, I don't think it's gonna be Stolen Valor if it's a 3D plastic printed 3D
at
model.
the same thing with the helicopter thing, they would make a dog tag for you.
With the Army experience thing?
Yeah, they'd give you a dog tag, and I'm trying to think if you could custom. I might have one that says Lizard Druid. I might. I don't know.
I was doing some calculations. I didn't put it on Twitch here, but I was doing some calculations about who was guessing the right psyops, the little game we played. But in the end, it has to come down to the player who came through for me and was my teammate to the end, grenading my body. So congratulations, Tom. Yeah. You'll get a dog tag this evening.
Thank you so much. I knew that grenading your still bleeding corpse was the right way to go.
The right strategic move to try and kill the person who killed me. I get it. I understand.
See, Bob was dumb and he tried to help his friend. I knew using my friend's lifeless corpse as bait, that's the way to go.
Clips in this podcast were used in compliance with the U.S. Copyright Fair Use Exemption for criticism and commentary. Garbage Game Night makes no claims to ownership over any games played and has no affiliation with any developer or publishing company. For additional references on cited articles and quotes, check our episode-related blog at garbagegamenight.com. Or if you have a comment about the game we reviewed or have a suggestion, drop us a line.